Geeks are ridiculed for their fondness of blue hedgehogs, Italian plumbers, and night elves. There is a place where those that are persecuted can find solace and laws, where like-minded geeks can join forces and together grow stronger, as together they can wield unimaginary power, invade enemy lines, and loot bosses. Together, they are Epic Geeks.
Hello, Gamer Geeks everywhere, and welcome to Epic Geeks Podcast Edition. This is episode number 16 for Friday, the 25th of July, 2014. And today on the show, we take a look at the new Hearthstone expansion, The Curse of Naxxramas. Bungie's beta is open to all, and Google acquires Twitch. Let's hope they can sort out their terrible customer service, as we will talk about later. And with me to discuss these topics we have the wonderful, amazing James. Hello, James.
Hello.
Howdy, how's it going?
It's alright, it's not bad, it's a little warm, you know, we've been hit by a bit of a heat spree over in the UK.
You don't say.
Who needs holiday? On the other side, we have the just as wonderful and amazing Tom McIlroy.
Hello. How are you, both?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm glad you called me Tom this time. No one's going to understand why I'm saying that, but no, I'm glad. I'm feeling good, thanks. I'm feeling. It is too hot at the moment. Too hot.
Now let's stop this right there, okay? Because we've just done a very, very British introduction. Hello, how are you? I'm very well. How are you? Thank you very much. Hello. And now we're talking about the weather, which is another very British thing. And I'm sure that our listeners out in America and Australia and all the other hot places are thinking, will the Brits please stop talking about the weather? Let's just get this out of the way very quickly. We've had a heat wave here. We think it's very hot because it's been around 26-30 degrees C for the last few days.
Yeah.
People in Turkey will think that this is just a little bit of a warm spell, but for us we're melting. So therefore we've got that out the way. Thank you very much. It's been lovely though. Having said that, who needs to go on holiday when we have weather like this?
Yeah.
So let's move away from the weather now.
I don't want to talk about it.
Tom, let's talk about your week in gaming. What have you been up to?
Well, not a massive variety of things. Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 3. Sorry, I looked at Mass Effect 2 as I was speaking. That's why I got thrown off. Mass Effect 3. Working my way through that. 26 hours in, and nothing to show for it. It's one of those games where you just can't skip something, and I guess the wonderful thing about the game is that you walk past people, like you'll run off around the galaxy, you'll do 7 different missions, collecting all sorts of random nonsense and knickknacks for various people, and as you go to hand it in, you'll walk past someone and they'll have a conversation, and that throws another objective in, and I don't like doing the main story arc when there's other areas, because I always worry that the story arc will take me somewhere where I can't go back. I don't know how it's going to affect it. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So you end up feels like a chore. It's fun and exciting, and there's a lot of variety in the game, but there's so much of the game. I mean, there's picking it up for like, what was it, a $5? Less than that I picked it up for. There's so much value in it. But apart from that, WoW Legendary Quest, which I've moaned about enough on Geeks of Azeroth. It's bane of my life right now. Staying up till silly hours of the morning, Valor capping as soon as it drops, and it's just, I struggle to think how people are going to cope afterwards. I really do. But that's about it, really. What about yourselves?
James, you go.
Oh, well, this week's been a bit of a, I don't know. I've become obsessed with Hearthstone, of all things, would you believe? Again. And this is, of course, the game that well, when it came out on the iPad, I think you and me both, Kim, were like, oh my god, Hearthstone is the best thing in the world. Let's just keep playing. And I think I recently, over the past sort of 3 months, I've kind of bought a lot of cards, which I shouldn't have, but I did. So because the Naxxramas expansion came out on Tuesday, I've been playing a lot of that. I'm getting frustrated as hell because I'll go up the ranks, and then just as I'm about to get on sort of rank 13, rank 12, I'll go straight back down the ranks.
Sounds so tragic when you put it that way.
Like, the game hates me. I don't,
kind of hits you with your own Nerf stick. Isn't it?
You got to quit while you're ahead. Just get to 13, 14, and then just never play the game again.
Stop, yeah.
No, that defeats the purpose. Legendary. I will get to legendary. Honest.
Good luck with that. Good luck.
Sink more money in.
But no, I don't know. Maybe, possibly, we'll see. But other than that, I've been sticking with Hotline Miami because it's awesome and it's pixelated, gory amazingness.
We like pixels.
We like pixels. But what about yourself, Miss Kim? What have you been doing?
Miss Kim? I've never been called Miss Kim before. Makes me, yeah. Anyway, what have I been doing?
British. Too British.
What have I been doing? Well, WorldStar mainly still, because I'm trying to get to level 50 for the purpose of Geeks of Nexus, and it's hard going. It's quite tough. It is quite tough. It's slow with the leveling, but fun. It's all right. It's fun. It's all good. But other than that, I did try Hearthstone just before the podcast. It's the first time I've had a chance to look at it, and yeah, it was really hard. Stupidly hard. I think once I've sat down and had a proper go at it, I'll be fine. But having to try and play a quick game before the podcast maybe wasn't a good idea.
Best idea.
No.
They were still playing when I joined. Let's put it that way, listeners.
Yeah, well, we went, shush Tom, we're concentrating. We got distracted. But anyway, let's go on and talk about Hearthstone now. I've got a little drop to play first, though.
Hit it.
Epic Geeks presents It's Time to Play.
So, Curse of Naxxramas is with us. The first expansion for Hearthstone, brought to us by Blizzard, of course. And James, I believe you know all about this expansion, so you're going to give us a brief overview and kind of go from there. Or I can play the trailer first and give you a chance to think about it.
Go for it. We like trailers.
Here's the trailer.
Whispers of an ancient tomb,
holding horrors in every room.
ghastly ghouls by the valor, but in the shadows lurks something more. Knights of death and abominations, claiming your bits for new creations. And if by chance you should survive,
There's plenty of sweet loot inside. Curse of Naxxramas, a Hearthstone adventure.
So that was the trailer for Curse of Naxxramas, and James.
It's rather poetic. It's poetic. I love that trailer. I've watched it a few times now, even though there's nothing much. So the Curse of Naxxramas. So if you're a long-time WoW player, we're going back to Naxxramas again.
Woo!
But this time in sort of card forms, and it's pretty neat. But the basic gist is Naxxramas. You've got all the wings of Naxxramas with the corresponding bosses, and it's basically you as if you're playing against another player, but you're playing in AI. You're playing against the bosses. You're playing against the Naxxramas bosses. They've each got their own special abilities, and they are irritating as hell, I might add.
It's like raiding. It's like real WoW raiding.
It's like WoW raiding, but in card form, in some bizarre format. And so with each sort of wing, they're going to be released every week sort of thing. You've got your 3 bosses, and every time you beat the bosses, you unlock more cards from Naxxramas. And then I think, if I remember rightly, there's a challenge mode, which you get given a set deck, and you've got to beat specific bosses with this set deck to unlock a card for the class you're playing as. And then after you've done that, you've got heroic mode, which... No. Just... that's not... Very painful. I've just... I know it's only been out sort of, Friday? 3 days now. I've only just beaten the last boss of the current wing. Good luck. That's all I'm saying is good luck. Unless you're going to sort of Hearth Nation or Hearthpwned.com and taking someone's deck that's been purposely built for the purpose of beating that boss, good luck, because yeah.
I can see already just from the limited time that I've spent on it that you do need to tailor make your deck specifically to try and beat that boss and whatever abilities that they have.
Yep.
Which is good for making people a bit more creative maybe with their decks. Because I sort of like to try and make my own decks rather than going on their websites and looking at other people's. So for me that's kind of quite interesting. Having to actually look at what abilities are coming out from the boss and then trying to counteract it with whatever cards I've had. I've already seen that the first boss, the spider boss, what's it called? Help me, James.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Well, whatever it is, the arachnid one.
Yeah.
Brings out so many minions. It's unbelievable. So I'm just thinking, I just need a complete control deck. I need some kind of lots of board clearances and things like that. So I'm gonna have a tinker around with that later and see if I can sort that out first. But Tom, I know you said at the beginning of the podcast when we were having our little pre-show chat that you haven't played Hearthstone for ages. I think you didn't like your computer very much. Your computer didn't like it anyway. So, but you might actually be giving it a go now.
No, I think I will. I uninstalled it because I think there was a huge rush when the Hearthstone mount was about, and it really got people going and really drove the game. But I uninstalled it mainly because there were so many other things I was using, like WoW and just generally Battle.net games in general. So I will reinstall it and I will check it out. I think it's really cool to hear that people are encountering the bosses that in a way that requires them to take a step back, go online and look. Because if you think about it, that's kind of capturing something that was in the hardcore levels of WoW raiding anyways. I mean, if you think about how top-end raiders used to raid, or still do raid, they had to think about, swapping things out per boss and, taking time out, researching, coming back to it. And I think really that's what makes it even more of a, WoW game, is the fact that you can't just take a perfect deck in and just smash everything aside. But saying that at the same time, but it's also great to hear. I haven't had a chance to even go near Naxxramas yet, but I did play the original WoW TCG, and I'm so happy that they managed to capture that essence with these raid tiers in general, because particularly Onyxia's raid deck with the TCG, you had special mechanics for Onyxia. With the Ice Crown set, you had different bosses that you were countering and things like that. So I'm really excited that they've managed to capture everything I loved about the raid decks and just stick it online. And so I love it. I really do love it. So, but obviously I haven't played yet. So I will obviously love it enough, but not too much. But I will check it out and definitely give it a whirl once. I don't know if I'll play all the raid tiers though. I don't know when all the wings going to be available by. I might just try and do them all.
They're coming out weekly, I believe, aren't they?
Yeah, they're coming out weekly as of sort of next week. We'll have the second one, third after that. But you can't actually just jump into them. You've either got to buy them. You buy all the wings for $24.99 in pounds, or you buy them with gold, and it's 700 gold per wing. Once you bought them, they're yours forever. If you want the first wing, you need to log in within the first month. So you've got until the 21st of August, because after that, you will have to pay 700 gold.
Oh.
But for now, it's free. The first wing is completely free to everyone that logs in.
I've logged in. I've got mine free.
It's awesome.
On that note, we'll move on then.
I was about to say that's a perfect segue onto something else that's free for everyone who logs in.
Let's go.
It's time for gaming news with Epic Geeks.
So, Bungie has announced that it's opened its Destiny beta to everybody. From tomorrow, Saturday the 26th, you can log on to your PS4, PS3, Xbox One, Xbox 360. Go and search for Destiny beta and you'll be able to download it and play regardless of whether you have pre-ordered or not.
Dum dum dum.
Controversy about. Now for me, that's amazing because I haven't pre-ordered it because I'm thinking, do you know what? It's really expensive. Maybe I can wait a bit longer and just buy it in September. That's fine. I don't need to go into the beta. Now I'm going, oh woohoo! Look, that's amazing. I get to go and play the beta and I haven't even paid for it. However, James, what's your viewpoint on it?
This is stupid. What the hell? I mean, okay, from a company's point of view, they're getting all the testers in they need. It's open to the world. But for the past, past 2 months, Bungie has specifically sat there, gone on Twitter, they've gone onto the forums, they've gone to news outlets like IGN and said, the only way to get in the Destiny beta is by pre-ordering the game or getting one of these codes from our website, which will only drop them every so often. That is the only way you will get in. Rah, 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 rah. Well, yeah, Bungie, nice one. You enticed me into buying a pre-order to get a key, and now it's just like, yeah, here, have them free.
It's like a week later. It's not like it's a long time afterwards, is it? It's like a week later. I mean, James's video was frozen on the most amazing. Can you see that, Tom? The most amazing pose. I don't think he's there anymore. He's actually gone. He's gone. There he goes. For the purpose of those on the podcast, he had this pose. It just like he was in.
I missed it. I almost screen captured it.
Oh no! Oh, but it's all right. It's on record. We're videoing it. It's fine. We'll put it up on the website.
Fantastic.
It was just this angry face with like a ninja pose, like he was going to chop someone's head off in his anger.
Stick it on the website.
And then he went, and he's not coming back. Oh well.
What do you think about it then, Kim?
Well, like I said, I'm really happy because I haven't spent any money, and tomorrow I can go on my 360 and I can download the beta and join in with everybody else. But I can see how it would annoy other people, and I think they should have waited a bit longer, if I'm honest, because it only came out, the 17th of July for PlayStation players, and then the 23rd or 25th, something like that, for 23rd for the Xbox. So, what is it now? The 25th of July? Like that's
it's
not
25th.
So the people who have pre-ordered haven't had that much of an exclusive beta experience, have they?
Yeah, but at the same time, the beta ends on Sunday, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So they're not really like the free access people aren't really getting much of one themselves anyways. I mean, how much can you play in 3 or 4 days?
Well,
a lot, I guess.
I suppose. But then you kind of think, why are they? If they're letting everybody come in tomorrow, then why don't they extend the beta for a bit? Well, I don't see the point. Why would they just not have everybody in until Sunday? Just let the people who've pre-ordered it be in there.
Or split it. I guess that's a fair point, isn't it? You could say have this exclusive beta and then
have another one.
Give it a week and have another one where it is all access, and that way you keep that sort of the integrity of the pre-order bonuses there. I'm just having a look now to see, because then I'll be honest, I don't know that much about the pre-order benefits. But I'm thinking there must have been something else than the beta access that they were getting.
There were some bits and pieces. There's some exclusive content which, off the top of my head, I can't see. This is where you need James because he remembers all of these things. Oh, there he is. Welcome back.
Sorry.
Can you remember? You should have them, so you should know this. What do you get for your pre-order? I know there's some exclusive content as well, wasn't there? Other than the beta. You think I can't remember. And now Tom's like frozen as well. Are you there, Tom?
I am here.
Oh, you are. You're just kind of like you stopped with the hand over your face. Like
Something's going definitely wrong with the system. At least I'm still here.
Skype hates us. Well, let's have a look. We were just discussing, James, while you were away.
Hello.
The fact that obviously this beta ends on Sunday. So
Yes.
what really was the point of letting all these extra people in? I know it might be to test the servers or what have you, but we were just discussing the fact what they could have done is had a separate beta where everybody was invited, so that all the people who pre-ordered had this exclusive beta, and then everyone else came in a bit later.
I mean, going from sort of a industry perspective of what they normally do is you'll have a beta come out which will specifically help shape the game, and then they'll do an open beta which is like, oh hey, this is just a kind of early access kind of thing, and I'm wanting to say that's what this is.
It's just a stress test, really, isn't it?
It's a stress test because obviously they've already had the alpha, which was on exclusive PS4.
Yeah.
So I think the facts, despite my little rant that I got disconnected from and all that, never mind.
The anger.
The anger. It's a stress test. It's exactly that. It'll be a stress test to sort of see if the servers will cope. And it's not just that. I mean, reading an article that IGN posted last night, they went into what they call the Destiny Nerve Center, and apparently it looks like NORAD. It's not a guy behind a computer. It looks like something from NASA. They've got all the screens sort of laid out, so with all this data going through it, and to ensure people ensure the open world experience remains constant, they've got about 6 internet service providers providing them with internet just in case one goes down.
Wow.
They've got servers left, right, and centre, and there's apparently at any one time there's always 2 people watching over this nerve centre to make sure everything is going perfect for this launch. And so I think we're going to see it as one of the, I know it's not an MMO per se, but it's going to be one of the smoothest launches of a game of this nature ever.
Well, it's kind of stretching the boundaries, though, isn't it, between sort of multiplayer FPSs and MMO? So it's almost like an in-between kind of genre in a way.
Definitely.
Oh, James is gone again. He's stopped. This is terrible.
Doesn't like James.
This is like our Friday the 13th episode all over again. Only
we're not bringing that up.
Friday the 25th. Let's not talk about that show. And there he goes, off he goes. And you're still like frozen in the ether. So yeah.
Am I?
Yeah, your webcam's not
See if
relevant.
I can.
That's not relevant. So you do get for your pre-order. You also get from day one exclusive early access to Vanguard weapons and gear. And a Vanguard player emblem, so that's your kind of like special bonus for pre-ordering. You get that you can gear up with that on day one. But yeah, Destiny is kind of stretching those boundaries between MMOs and first-person multiplayer FPSs. So I'm looking forward to giving it a go. I've seen a lot of good footage and stuff, so I might go into the beta tomorrow, see what it is like, and then pre-order it a bit near the time. Just at the last minute, while I can still get it on pre-order, but so I haven't got to spend money now.
But that's exactly, I think, what Bungie are after. Not to make them sound greedy, but they want more people to be able to try the game before they pre-order. Because let's be honest, there is a huge group of the market that sit there and go, "Well, I want to play it before I order it." But at the same time, you've got to think there's going to be more people in this game. So just from a beta perspective, this is a good thing because it's more people to play with, and you get a real sense of what the community is going to look like there. I mean, when you're playing with people who've pre-ordered, you're getting a very, not elitist, but you know what I mean, set of the community who are very interested in the game. Let the floodgates go and realise what Destiny's going to be like during the first 2 weeks. It might be a lot of people crouching on your face for a lot of time. You know that exactly. So you need to see what it's going to be like before you pre-order. It'd be wrong to have a really closed elitist beta elitist isn't the right word, I'd admit, but it's wrong to have that and then say, now make your judgment. You should see what the real game's going to look like with everyone playing it.
It seems to be a big thing now at the moment with gaming, that betas are almost like a preview or a demo of a game, and a lot of people are getting to the point now where they're like, well, I don't really know if I want to spend money unless I've played it and know what it's like. I mean, Carbine, for example, with WildStar, apart from doing their the 3 free 7-day trials for people who bought the deluxe, bought the pre-order, you could give your friend free trials. They're now saying that anybody can go and get. Welcome back, James. Just waiting for Tom's webcam to come back, and then we'll be back to normal.
I keep restarting it, but go ahead.
Okay. Carbine are now saying that anybody can get a free trial, 7-day free trial of WildStar. They can just go down to their local shop and get one. So it's almost like a lot of game developers now are saying, do you know what, go and have a go at our game for free first, and if you like it, then play it, because we're confident that when you do play it, you're going to like it. So I think we'll see more of that in the future. So that's that. So we're going to move on now to an interesting story, which is down from my neck of the woods, which I found quite interesting. I know, down in Eastbourne, in the east of the county of Sussex, there's an interesting story which is popping up. One of our local papers, the Argus. Subject's close to my heart. And
I wonder why.
You can imagine this now. You're playing with some friends. You're playing Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on your games console. You're chatting with your mate over, and all of a sudden you hear a bit of a noise in the background, and something's gone wrong. What's going on? What's going on, Jim? What's happening over there? And your friend's actually being robbed. Whilst you're there on the other side. So what basically happened was, I won't say people's names, but you can go and find them on the internet quite easily. It's not like it's a secret, because it has been to court and everything, so it's all finished now. But what happened was, a couple of burglars broke into this person's house. A pair of crooks, as it says on the the write-up, who were packing heat. I like the way that they described that. They tied up this bloke and demanded drugs and money. I'm hoping he didn't have drugs. That's what he give us your drugs and your money. At one point, this robber even took a call from his probation officer to discuss a missed appointment that he had. So you can see the calibre of people that we're working with here. And what happened was the bloke had been playing Black Ops 2 with his friend over the internet, and the headset was laying on the side, and his friend was hearing everything that was going on. He'd heard the blokes breaking in, he'd heard the demands being made, he even heard the phone call that was being made to the probation officer. So he put his headset on mute and went and phoned the police and said, I think you need to get round to my friend's house because he's kind of being burgled at this very moment. And he was in Brighton, his friend, he was only up the road. And the local authorities then arrested these two people in Eastbourne less than 2 hours after the burglary took place. So good work by Sussex Police there. Would like to point that out. And the assailant there's one assailant still at large. They only arrested one of them. There's another one still about. He's a white male, aged between 20 and 25, with ginger hair. So if you know that person, I'd like to point out there are quite a lot of people who match that description. So don't just go and top your mate in. My friend's between 20 and 25, and he's got ginger hair. It must be him. No. But the guy that was caught has been sentenced to 8 years in prison in order to pay £120 in damages. So there, he's out of the way for a while. So what do you think about that then? Can you imagine that happening? You're there playing games with your friends, and it's almost like a real life thing happens. It's lucky they weren't kind of playing GTA 5 or something. Because that would have just been weird.
There is actually there was a well publicised story. I can't remember how long ago it was actually. I think might be a couple of months ago, something like that, with a girl, Nikki Elise. I can't remember the name of her channel. I can't remember, but she was playing Dota 2. Her stream name was Sajidine. I can't pronounce that. But anyway, she was streaming. Obviously, the cameras pointed at her, and some gunmen broke into her flat and held her at gunpoint. So obviously, she's being robbed, and her whole Twitch community is watching her get robbed, and someone actually called the police for her. And they got them. I think they got them at least.
On camera. That's brilliant evidence as well, isn't it? It wasn't us, Your Honour. We weren't there. Well, I can kind of see you. You're there. Oh, and now Tom's gone. What's going on with this? It's lucky that we're not being robbed, really, because we wouldn't see anything, because people keep, disappearing from Twitch. Wasn't there... You're still there? Oh, you are still there.
I'm in the background. I did go... This is awful. Our own servers are getting absolutely destroyed.
I don't know. Maybe it's the heat. It must be the heat. There was another one, wasn't there? One of the main streamers. The Warcraft guy with the bald head. What's his name? Was it him? Someone got the actual police. Someone called the police on him, and the police actually came in and raided him live while he was streaming.
Oh wow!
Because someone made a false report about him. that was well, not funny for him, but quite funny for everybody else. So yeah, the kind of next generation of law enforcement there are the gamers. So keep your webcams and your headsets on, and make sure your friends know that if you suddenly stop talking and people come in, then you might be being mugged. Call the police. Why are you saying no?
That.
Don't do what?
Don't do that, because that can come up with all sorts of embarrassing situations.
Oh, don't keep it on all the time, especially if you have your webcam in your bedroom.
Twitch is for gaming content only.
But you might want to keep it on, while you're playing games for security purposes. It's like your own personal CCTV. If somebody breaks in through my loft window, you're all gonna see it. We're not live on Twitch, of course.
We're actually not. Me and James are the only people in the world who will not see it.
Oh, that's true, because you can't see it because of XSplit. Doesn't like showing it at the same time. Oh well, never mind. Moving on, nice, into our next segment. Another nice segue there, going into our next topic, which is Google acquires, we believe, Twitch for $1 billion. That's a lot of money, isn't it?
$1 billion.
$1 billion. Don't know why we're saying like that. This is a bit weird. So in May there was a report that Google was looking to purchase, and we did mention it I think on the podcast, streaming video from Twitch, which would mean, of course, if it does do that it kind of has a monopoly on the streaming facilities. But according to VentureBeat, citing sources familiar with the matter, I don't know what that means. Familiar. The buyout has already happened. Dum dum dum. So it's not official yet. This is just kind of still in the rumour mill, but it has been spoken about a lot lately. So I'd imagine that if it hasn't happened already, it will happen anyway. What do we think about this? Because some people have an issue with Google generally, and are a bit worried about Twitch being taken over by Google. However, on the other hand, we haven't been particularly happy with Twitch lately. So it may be a good thing, it may be a bad thing. What do you reckon, James? Do you think it's a good thing for the gaming community and for Twitch, or are you on the side that is a bit sceptical?
I'm sat on the fence. I'm not on either side, if I'm perfectly honest, because this is another case of a multi-billion corporation that more or less controls 90. No, that's a terrible number. I'm not going to say 90% because that's just completely wrong. But a lot.
100%.
153%.
100%.
I'll tell you something, James. Before you carry on, 2.6% of statistics are made up on the spot.
And I'm one of them. No, it's a large number of technical innovations are already owned by Google. Google just keeps buying things. If it becomes a threat, or if it's something that they might have tried getting in the past, they just buy it, and it's like, lol, ours now, lol, ours now, ha 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 ha. Kind of like Facebook with the Oculus Rift, which still doesn't make sense. But this is the thing, they're just buying up the space, it's destroying competition. Maybe, okay, Google, yes, they've got the infrastructure behind them, they've got servers, they could improve the service and help improve the service. But in the long run, what is it going to offer us? I mean, Google are notorious for ads on everything. Are we going to have more ads appearing on our Twitch? Are we as, well, not right now, we're not, but we as Twitch users going to be forced to do more
Oh, he's gone again. What is it tonight? Skype's been really good lately.
It's
and then
not doing too well.
Tonight it doesn't like us at all. Well, I'll kind of continue that before I skip over to you, because Google's or YouTube's own streaming service has never been particularly popular, not particularly good either. So it's almost like they're saying, well, we can't really do it, so we're just going to take over someone who can do it really well and use their services instead.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts, Tomboy?
Well, I guess in a way I wish I'd let James was able to finish, because I don't see a problem with anything he's talking about. I mean, yeah, there's a view that Google or big companies like that shouldn't just wait until someone comes up with a good idea, then just buy it and use it to sell advertising. I get that, and people will worry about that. But why is this inherently a bad thing? Just because Google's a big company doesn't mean it's bad for them to have it. I mean, gaming in general, I guess, has always been on the side of the underdogs, the indie style groups. But big corporations do make a big part of it as well, and companies like Google could make vast improvements to Twitch. There are things about Twitch that don't, how can I say, that aren't particularly
good.
Good. I'd say not to say that Twitch, doesn't do a good job most of the time. But Twitch is by far, it's not the best streaming service that it could ever be. Not by any means. I'm not saying that to put it down. I'm just saying that objectively, there are a lot of things about Twitch that could be done better. Personally, I think their partnering system could be a lot better. I think some of their specific content varies in and out. And also, I guess one problem that would be really, important by being integrated to Google is that Google is a massive platform for sharing videos that inevitably started on Twitch in the first place. So you have to ask, how are videos that involve gaming? There is a lot of Let's Play content on YouTube. There's a lot of or just generally, how can I put it, active gaming on YouTube. But vice versa, Twitch would not allow you to write a review and stream that necessarily on their services, because it's not necessarily the same sort of content they're looking for. So my view is, how is this going to come to a middle ground? Is Google going to just take Twitch and implement it into Google, or is it going to hang on to it? In which case, what is the point in uploading stuff to YouTube? Why? I don't know. I don't want to ramble on about it, but I think it could be an amazing thing as long as Google rethinks how YouTube and Twitch stand by each other. If it can reimagine that and make it a bit more cooperative, then I think it could be an amazing thing. But obviously, Google has a plan, and we'll see in the next month, years maybe, how that works.
And one thing that Twitch don't get right, which we've been discussing a lot on HipChat and Twitter and stuff lately, is their customer service. Because for those of you that have listened to the past few podcasts, and we did say we weren't going to rant about this, and I'm going to try not to rant about it. However, 3 weeks on, I think that maybe I can be a little bit annoyed about it now. Our stream was suspended from Twitch. We don't know why. We have our inklings as to why, but it's not necessarily anything to do with what we've been doing. And we just had a blanket email saying you've somehow done something bad against our terms of service, of which I've read through them and I don't think we have. We've done our appeal process. When you send an email, it says, we believe that your email is about suspension. Please fill in this appeal and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So I did the appeal. I've done everything they've asked. It said, don't send in other appeals if you don't get a reply quickly. Don't re-email us. I haven't done any of that. It says you will get a reply within 7 business days. It's been 3 weeks and I've heard nothing. So after 9 days, I sent a very polite email saying, please can someone at least let us know what's happening, or at least let us know why I've been suspended, or something, or let us know kind of anything that's happening. And I've had no emails back. I did a little Twitter yesterday to their Twitch support, who never get back to anyway, and I got this volunteer, I won't say his name, but if he's listening he knows who he is, come up going, hi, what seems to be the problem? And you kind of go into his little bio and it says he's a Twitch volunteer, so I'm guessing they don't pay a lot of people to be in their support services. So I explained to him what was happening. He goes, please fill in this appeal. I said, I've already done that. And he went, oh, well, if you've already done it, just wait for 7 business days. I said, yeah, I've already done that. It's been 3 weeks. And then he never replied to me after that. And I haven't heard anything from him or from Twitch support or anybody. So, from my point of view, if Google can sort that out, I'll be quite happy. Because quite clearly, they've got some kind of infrastructure problem within their support services, and they're not that keen on helping the little guys. I'm sure the guys at the top get all the support they want, but the little guys at the bottom aren't important to them. That makes me sad.
Makes us all sad.
Rant over.
I think though that's the thing is Twitch. I guess that's exactly what I guess I was trying to hint at earlier, is that there are areas of Twitch, and this obviously in this case applies to the organisation of Twitch itself, that could be hugely benefited by having a company like Google come in and restructure it and tie in its support and its help desk and things like that. But I guess one thing I've always wanted to know is YouTube has had real problems in the past. And I guess this blends into Google has generally had problems in the past with people's right to use games to make their own content. Mm-hmm. There have been a lot of reviews in the past where a lot of situations, I know Total Biscuit, for example, has made a review, a fair and honest review of a game, but because it's been negative, the developers of the game have gone, nope, you're not allowed to use our content, we want that down.
Yeah.
So my question,
isn't it?
It's censorship in general, which is a bad thing because right to I'm not going to bring out the right to free speech thing, but it's right that people should take praise and criticism. So my argument is, where Twitch allows, I guess, that level of objectivity, is that going to be lost? If I'm streaming a game and I'm going, look how awful this game is, it's absolutely terrible, is Google going to go around and say, right, you just can't stream ever again because the developers have said you're slandering their name? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's important to realise there's an incredibly legal aspect to Google that is going to come into Twitch streaming. And there's a lot of people who, I don't, not to put people down, but there's a lot of people who just pick up, a game and they stream it and they don't necessarily appreciate that someone can come along and say, actually, I never gave you permission for that content and you've said some terrible things, actually, I'll sue you. And that's where it could go.
The problem that you've got with this whole, the other thing you've got with YouTube is their kind of copyright aspect, which is appalling, because someone can claim a copyright on something and you can say, no, actually, I've got the right to use that because of this, and that, and you could have a perfectly good legal reason, and they could go, no, I don't agree with that, actually. And then if you go, no, I'm right, and they go, no, you're not, and then you're just not allowed to use that video anymore. Or they might sue you. Whereas at no point does anybody from YouTube or Google or any kind of legal lawyer look into that and go, well, actually, the person that's made the video's right, they can use it, and you're just being a bit of a git. So people can kind of do whatever they want, even if they're not right. And in terms of like what we do, most game developers, to be fair, especially the big ones like Blizzard and Carbine and all those guys, are perfectly happy for you to stream, do videos, whatever you like with their content, because they're getting free advertising at the end of the day. And most of it's positive, but some of them are fine if they get a little bit of negative press. It kind of goes with it. But you're right, you get someone who gets negative press, then it could suddenly be an issue. And if you're doing that with streaming, and YouTube, Google, whatever, start bringing in the whole copyright aspect of games and everything as well, and people being able to claim stuff, could get very messy and complicated for streamers.
Also, I don't know if either of you know, what's going to happen to Twitch's subscription service?
Don't know. What, to get rid of your adverts?
Well, you subscribe to channels, yeah. But whereas obviously you can subscribe to channels on YouTube, but there's more of a monetary system in Twitch. You actually pay the channel, am I right? Yeah. Or you can donate to the channel, whereas in YouTube, they're thinking of an idea where you can donate money to videos that you really like.
A tip system, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's got to change, because you can't have both, because that's just unfair to have, YouTubers not make money, but Twitch...
I think it all depends on what scale Google are taking over. If they're going to take over in sort of an administration sort of role and just take a back seat and just let Twitch do its thing, fine. I completely disagree with what you said earlier about, oh, hey, they're going to bring in their customer service, because if you've ever tried getting in touch with Google, just don't. You can't.
They do reply. I have had a reply from Google.
No.
I had a reply from Twitter too, yeah.
You can very rarely speak to an actual person. It's, oh, go through this form. Oh, go through this form. Oh, go through... That was my last job. Let's not talk about that. Oh, my God. But yeah, it all depends on what role Google are going to take. Are they going to just merge it into their services, or are they just buying into it? Here, do what you do it best, just make us money.
We should be fine. Really. Infrastructure. Well, go on, Tom.
I was going to say, at the end of the day, Twitch is an amazing service, despite its faults. It does do amazing things for the gaming community. So really, not a lot needs to be changed. It's just the integration. They've got two different outlooks necessarily at the moment. When they combine, it'll be interesting to see the results. But hopefully, it's the stuff behind the scenes that needs to be improved, perhaps. But that's like a lot of companies, I guess, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll have to see, I suppose. Watch this space.
Time will tell.
Yeah. We're going to move on to our last topic for our Kickstarter. And James has already put, are we doing this after discussion, Kim? Too much console stuff. We were talking briefly before we were waiting for Tom to say that we do talk probably too much about consoles, like not the games, but just the consoles and who's winning the war and what gimmicky things they're bringing out, and we're going to not do it. But however, this thing I thought was quite interesting, only because we've been talking a lot about the Oculus Rift and Project Morpheus and that lately, and all the gimmicks that consoles come out, and also because it's got a different aspect in terms of disabled gamers, which I'd like to bring up. So Microsoft has shown an interest in the eye tracking visor FOVE. I think that's how you say it, FOVE. I'm going to play a little trailer quickly for those of you on the video. So, eye tracking software, which is slightly different to the kind of 3D virtual reality headsets that we've got from Sony being brought out. Now, Tom, you and I, when we were over in EGX, earlier in the year, we got to actually try some eye tracking software, didn't we? It wasn't a headset. It was. Do you remember that, the car game?
Yes, I remember that. It was. I can't remember the name of the company, but it was aimed at building gaming platforms to help those who are less able than ourselves. So people, for example, in this case, who couldn't have use of their limbs, so they would wear headsets in order to direct an automatically moving car. So effectively they could play a racing game or some sort of driving simulator just through the movement of their eyes.
Yeah, which I found really interesting, and it was really, really hard to do actually, because when you're used to using your eyes to look around to see things on the computer screen, but now all of a sudden the car is actually moving with your eyes, and if you look somewhere else then you crash the car effectively. It's quite an interesting concept, but by look of this, they've taken it like a step further with this headset, where you can actually aim at people and shoot things, and I'm guessing that if you're an able-bodied person, you're then using a thingy controller, that's the word, as well, to do things. So you're combining the two. It's another gimmick, isn't it? But it's a gimmick that could potentially also help gamers who haven't got the use of fingers, limbs, etc., to also get into gaming in a more, what's the word I'm looking for? A less than basic form of gaming. They're actually might be able to play the sort of FPSs that we can play that they can normally might not be able to. So I think it was quite interesting to take a look at. What do you reckon, James?
I never have opinions on such things, because I think there's too many VR headsets out there anyway.
Yeah, this is different, isn't it? This is different.
No.
None of them are going to be used for games now. So
I mean, this personally, I think it's an awesome step in the right direction because, I mean, there are charities already out there, such as Special Effect, which do specialized technology like this already. I've not actually looked at the eye tracking software or the visor or anything like that, but I've seen it in action, and some of it is completely fascinating how it actually works.
Amazing,
I mean,
isn't it?
it's, as you said, sort of being able to control a car with your eyes. You'll not even have to move your body. The science possibilities are huge when it comes to that. I don't know, it's Microsoft, another one. You're buying everything. Why?
So it'd be interesting really to see whether this would be one of those things that they bring out just purely as a gimmick, like the Project Morpheus, or whether they're actually going to look at bringing it in for the use of people who have disabilities, or whether it's going to be for general gaming. It'd be interesting to see which way they go, or whether they're just going to combine the two and say that, you know, general gamers can play it, and also it's been adapted so that disabled gamers can use it as well, which would be amazing. So it'd be interesting to see how that develops over the years. So that's we're going to go on to our Kickstarter project very quickly, which today, let's move over to our right screen here. There we go. Oh, hang on, get rid of that. It's not the Geeks and Nexus podcast at all. Terra Tech.
Kim, what are you doing?
Had the little logo in the top corner there, got rid of that very quickly.
Dragging us into
Wrong
this unasked.
podcast. There's nice quick advertising there though as well.
Shocking.
So we're looking at Terra Tech today, which is a physics-based vehicle construction combat. I'm going to play the sort of trailer in the background, but I'm not going to have the sound, so I'm just going to let people see it. So this game, you build and design vehicles out of modular blocks, and then you fight enemies, discover new parts and corporations, and harvest natural resources. So it's almost like Lego on steroids on a computer, which is quite interesting. You can go along and do little things. So they're looking for £35,000. This is their goal, and they've currently got 28,000, over 28,000 with 48 hours to go. So they may or may not make that, but they're not far off. To be honest with you, they're getting there. It's made by Payload Studios in London, UK, so it's local. Their website is terratechgame.com. You can get a free demo on Steam and a free demo on IndieDB, so you can go and take a look at it now to see what it's like. Did you guys get to have a chance to have a look at this game before the show, or are you kind of winging it with me now?
Kind of winging it now.
I'm personally in between both because whilst I was at work today, someone did post this on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what is this? I'll have a note, because they touted it as a Lego blowy up car game, and I'm like, I'm sold, straight onto it. Let's have a look. I didn't get to watch the trailer, but I had a look through sort of the images and demo footage, and it's kind of cool. It looks pretty. For the amount of money that I'm asking for it, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing, and it's an amazing game for that little amount of money. But we shall see. Will it get the Kickstarter in 47 hours now? Ooh.
I'm trying to. Oh, there you go. I kind of made the video bigger and then couldn't make it smaller again. You can shoot as well, which it just looks fascinating. The actual gameplay. So it says build crazy vehicles out of modular blocks, seek out enemies, shoot blocks off them, and destroy their cockpits. Scavenge their dropped blocks to make your vehicle bigger, stronger, and faster. This sounds amazing. Build, drive, fly, harvest, and fight. Build anything you can imagine. Heavy battle tanks, yes. Fast scout vehicles, yep. Flying carpet bombers, why not? Simply snap the dropped enemy blocks onto the creation by dragging and dropping, and get straight back into the fray. It does sound like a combination of Lego and Minecraft, just kind of mangled together and then injected with a bit of steroids as well, just for good measure. Interesting concept. So you can build bases as well. When you first land on the Expedition Planet, you'll do so with all the equipment you'll need to refine, store and deliver the resources you collect. If your base is destroyed by a rival prospectors, then you'll have no way to complete your mission, so protect it at all costs. So that's another interesting feature. Defend your base, otherwise, basically, you've had it. That's it. Back to the beginning. So you can... let's have a look at their backing structures. You get your £3 where you get your exclusive wallpapers and a thank you. You can pledge £10 and you get the early bird game breaker. Get in quick to get a cheaper copy of the final release version of TerraTech plus a Steam key for the early access release, which is estimated at the end of 2014, plus the wallpaper set. £15 you get a final release version of TerraTech plus a Steam key plus the wallpaper. It goes all the way up. Let's have a look. Digital Harvester, exclusive Digital Harvester in-game GSO block white skin PDF companion book, digital copy of the soundtrack and extra release copies and everything else, plus all the stuff at the top. What's the highest one? I always find it interesting going to the top one. If you pledge £1,000 or more, which is limited, 3 of 3, be immortalised as a pivotal character. One of the in-game corporation bosses, your likeness and characteristics will be represented in the character's backstory, and you'll take part in a design meeting via Skype or in person, but the travel's not included. Words, they're difficult for me. You'll also join us in a live stream to reveal your character, get a super rare corporation CEO custom in-game skin, blah blah blah, the usual stuff. If you've got a lot of money, then you can have an epic game experience on that. So having a quick look at that, Thomas, what do you think about it?
I think it looks incredible. I really do. For some reason, I'm thinking of Lego Rock Raiders. It's so similar, but the best thing about Lego Rock Raiders was the vehicles. So they've taken the best thing about one of my favourite childhood games and just made a game out of it, which is incredible. I'm sitting here and as you're reading out the £1,000 sort of reward, I'm sitting there thinking I'd love to have £1,000 just to throw away at it. I would love it. It looks incredible. There's nothing to say. I don't want to just repeat it, but I will point out that they do have a Twitch channel, which is TerraTech Game, where they seem to be sort of do stream videos on how the game's built, the infrastructure, and I guess just really playing it and just having a glimpse at that. It's worth checking out if you haven't backed this up. They're also at Comic-Con right now.
Oh, really?
Comic-Con.
I think it looks like they're at Comic-Con.
I'd imagine it would be a good place for them to go, to be honest with you.
They could make it. I really think they could make it.
If they're at Comic-Con and people are trying it right now, then they can go home or get back to the hotel room and put some money down.
£1,000.
It's actually something I might be interested in actually getting. I mean, if you pay the, £10 to get the early bird game breaker, that's not a lot of money, is it? And you get a cheaper copy of the final release and a Steam key for the early access, or £15 just to get the final release of the game. Bargain in my eyes. Oh, they're going to Resd as well. They are going to Resd in London. So myself and Sparky Jake will have a go and we'll report back on them then. Because why not? Even might see if we can get a quick interview with them at Resd. Interesting. So we'll keep an eye on them, see whether they get their backing or not. They're not far off, are they? What was it? 28,000. They need another 7,000.
They'll make it. I'm calling it. They've added another. They've got up £230 since we started talking about it.
Really? Oh, there you go then. People at Comic-Con are obviously liking it. They're going to
make it. They only need what's that? 6,800 and something. Less than that.
They might very well make it. Interesting. So also, what was I going to say? They have got some stretch goals, but I don't think they're going to make any of the stretch goals. But it would have been interesting if they got to 40,000. They were going to have a creative mode, 50,000 online multiplayer, which would have been fun. And although having said that, online multiplayer, is it not online multiplayer then? Have you got to be... Who do you play against if it's not online multiplayer? Oh, LAN, is it? Oh, that's a shame. Because online multiplayer would be what makes that game, in my opinion. I think you have to have that.
I kind of expected that when you were talking about that.
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll bring that in the future anyway. I think they have to have that really in a game of that sort. We'll see. Anyway, that is that. That is TerraTech. So go to Kickstarter projects. and put in TerraTech. The actual site is TerraTech-physics-based vehicle-construction. just search TerraTech, it'll come up. There you go. And go and donate to them if you like what they're doing. So that is that. We're going to bring the podcast to an end a little bit sooner than normal. Because we have got an interview to play everybody at the very end. We know some people don't like listening to interviews, some people love them. So we're putting it at the end of the podcast. You could decide whether you want to listen to it, but I will tell you that this one is worth listening to. It's an interview that I had with the game developer for Cloud Chamber, which is a new game which is coming out on Steam at the end of the month, definitely before August. Christian Fonsbeck is his name. A very interesting character. Cloud Chamber, for those of you that don't know, is an investigative story MMO. Dark Sparky, our man Jake, did do a review, which is out on YouTube if you want to go and have a look at that. He loved it. He absolutely loved it. I don't know what you two know about Cloud Chamber, but it's more or less you have to investigate this mystery, and the MMO side of it is where you have to interact with other players and discuss what you find during your investigation and discuss your thoughts about it and what you think is going to happen, and other people kind of vote up your ideas up or down, like a Facebook kind of like system. And you have these kind of like online discussion forums and stuff running on in the background, which Christian kind of goes into in a little bit more detail, can probably explain it a little bit better than I can. But it is a very interesting concept of game, because you're kind of getting this interactive, almost like a movie that you're investigating yourself. So it's like a new form of entertainment almost.
And it also has the guy who plays Renly Baratheon in Game of Thrones in it.
It does. They've got some great actors in there. The actual the acting is quite impressive from what I've seen. So hang around if you want to listen to that interview. It is well worth listening to. We've also got the interview in video form off on our YouTube channel, and Dark Sparky's review as well. So go and have a look at that at official Epic Geeks. So other than that though, we're gonna end the podcast there. So we're gonna have our outro. I'm sure I've got some music here somewhere to play. I think we're going to go with this one.
Old reliable.
That's it, the old faithful there, as the sound goes down. So that's it. We've been the Epic Geeks. Thank you for watching episode number 16. We will be back in 2 weeks' time with some more gaming news. And so that's it. I've completely forgotten what I normally use for the outro. So you can find us on Twitter, epic_geeks, or find us on our website, epicgeeks.co.uk, and our email address is epicgeekspodcast@gmail.com. I had to think about that for a minute. Where can we find you, James?
I'm at Jutai on the Twitters, which is JUHTAI.
And Tom?
TC McIlroy.
And also, remember that we have our 2 new podcasts. If you're a World of Warcraft fan, we have Geeks of Azeroth, and if you're a WorldStar fan, we have Geeks of Nexus. You can find them on our website, or search for us on iTunes, Stitcher, or Podkicker, or watch our YouTube videos on our YouTube channel. So that's it. We will see you all next 2 weeks' time, and hopefully we might be back on Twitch by then. You never know if they can be bothered to get back to us. Bye for now.
Nah.
See you later.